You know those moments when your mind just won't stay still? One thought tells you you're not enough. Another is already making bold plans for tomorrow. Worries about what others think mixed with excitement about possibilities. Fear about the future fights with hope for what could be. And in the middle of all that noise, you're left asking yourself, what's actually real here? And what's just me spinning stories? We all live this way more than we realize, walking through life, but constantly seeing it through the filter of our own fears, memories, and expectations. Most of the time, we don't even notice we're doing it. But here's the truth that changed everything for me. The universe itself has been showing us how to see clearly all along, in the movement of planets, in the birth of stars, in the expansion of galaxies. The cosmos doesn't get tangled in self-doubt or confusion. It doesn't ask, what does this mean about me? It just is. And that's exactly what we're exploring today. 5 cosmic truths that aren't just fascinating facts, but living metaphors you can use in your daily life. They'll help you see situations as they are, not as your anxious mind paints them. They'll shift how you handle stress, how you make choices, and how you connect with others. By the end of this journey, you'll understand why black holes can teach you to let go of control, why the speed of light reveals the power of presence, how gravity holds a secret to real relationships, why the struggle of star formation shows that your challenges are shaping something beautiful, and why the expansion of the universe frees you from taking everything so personally. This isn't about shutting off emotions or becoming untouchable. It's about discovering the space between reality and the story you attach to it. And in that space, that's where freedom begins. So, take a breath, settle in, and let's explore the cosmos together. Because when you learn to see the universe clearly, you learn to see yourself clearly too. Number 1, black holes and letting go of control. You know when you're trying to control something that's clearly not working out the way you planned. Maybe it's a relationship that's falling apart, and you keep having talks that go nowhere. Or a project at work where you're micromanaging every detail, but it's still going sideways. Or you're stressed about your kids' grades, your friends' life choices, or whether your partner loaded the dishwasher the right way. We do this thing where we grip tighter when things start slipping away. We think if we just try harder, worry more, or plan better, we can force life to go our way. But the harder we squeeze, the more exhausted we get. And usually, the situation gets worse, not better. It's like trying to hold water in your hands. The tighter you squeeze your fingers, the faster it slips through. But we keep squeezing anyway, because letting go feels scary. What if everything falls apart? What if I lose control completely? Here's something wild about black holes. They're not actually sucking things in like giant vacuum cleaners. I know. I was surprised too when I learned this. What's really happening is that black holes have such intense gravity that they warp the space around them. Imagine a bowling ball sitting on a stretched bedsheet. Everything rolls toward it naturally. That's what black holes do to space itself. But here's the interesting part. If you're far enough away from a black hole, you can actually orbit it safely forever. You don't get sucked in unless you get too close or try to fight the natural flow. Things only become dangerous when objects resist the natural movement of space around a black hole, or when they venture into that point of no return. The black hole isn't trying to destroy anything. It's just being what it is. The destruction happens when things fight against reality instead of working with it. Here's what this teaches us. Fighting reality is what creates the suffering, not reality itself. Most of our stress doesn't come from what's actually happening. It comes from resisting what's happening. The black hole of life, job loss, relationship changes, health issues, disappointments, these things have their own natural gravity. We can learn to move with them, or we can exhaust ourselves trying to swim upstream. When you stop fighting the current, you often discover there's a path through all along. Sometimes the thing you were afraid to lose needed to go anyway. Sometimes the change you were resisting leads somewhere better than where you were headed. Control is an illusion, but response is a choice. You can't control what happens, but you can control how you respond to what happens. And that response determines everything. The universe isn't personally trying to mess with you any more than a black hole is personally trying to destroy passing comets. Things just are what they are. 3 practical steps, and here's how to try this. Step 1. Name what you're trying to control. Right now, think of one situation where you're gripping tight. Write it down. Just naming it takes away some of its power over you. Step 2. Ask, what would letting go look like here? Not giving up, letting go. Maybe it means stopping the daily arguments about the same issue. Maybe it means applying for jobs instead of just worrying about job security. Maybe it means having one honest conversation instead of 10 frustrated ones. Step 3. Try riding the gravity for 1 week. When you feel that urge to control, pause and ask, what if I move with the situation instead of against it? Then do one small thing that flows with reality instead of fighting it. This doesn't mean being passive. It means using your energy more wisely, like choosing your orbit instead of trying to stop the black hole from being a black hole. What if the things you're trying hardest to control are actually trying to teach you something? What if your resistance is the only thing standing between you and a solution you haven't imagined yet? Next time you're stressed, ask yourself, am I fighting a black hole right now? Because if you are, maybe it's time to trust the gravity of the situation and see where it wants to take you. Sometimes the universe knows better than we do where we need to go. Number 2, the speed of light and the power of now. You know when you're having a conversation with someone, but you're not really there. Like, they're talking about their day, but you're mentally writing your grocery list. Or you're stressed about a meeting next week while you're supposed to be enjoying dinner. Or you're scrolling your phone while watching a movie with your family. We spend so much time living 5 minutes ahead or 5 years behind that we miss what's actually happening right in front of us. Then we wonder why we feel disconnected from our own lives, why conversations feel shallow, why experiences that should be meaningful somehow feel empty. We're like tourists taking photos of everything, but never actually seeing the places we visit. We document the moment instead of living it. We plan the experience instead of having it. And the crazy part is real life, the stuff that actually matters, only happens right here, right now. But we keep missing it because we're mentally somewhere else. Light is the ultimate present moment traveler. It doesn't save up energy to go faster later or slow down because it's tired from yesterday. Light moves at exactly the same speed, 186,000 miles per second, no matter what. Here's what's really mind-bending. From light's perspective, there is no travel time. When light leaves a star and reaches your eye, no time passes for the light itself. The journey that takes years from our perspective happens instantly from light's point of view. This is because light exists completely in the present moment. It doesn't experience past or future, just pure, immediate existence. Every photon hitting your eye right now is having its first and only moment of existence. And that light touching your retina? It's the same light that left a star maybe 4 years ago, arriving exactly when and where it needs to be, carrying information across impossible distances, simply by being fully present to what it is. Here's what this teaches us. All real power exists in the present moment. When you're fully present, you see things you miss when you're mentally elsewhere. You notice the tone in someone's voice that tells you how they're really feeling. You catch opportunities that you'd normally overlook. You make better decisions because you're working with current information, not yesterday's worries or tomorrow's what-ifs. Being present doesn't mean you can't plan for the future or learn from the past. It means you do those things from a centered place, not from anxiety or regret. Presence is where connection happens. Think about the people you feel closest to. They're probably the ones who actually listen when you talk. Who are there with you, not just physically near you. When you're fully present with someone, they feel seen and heard in a way that builds real intimacy. Light doesn't get anywhere by rushing. It gets everywhere by being fully what it is, right now. 3 practical steps, and here's how to try this. Step 1. Use a 5-4-3-2-1 grounding technique. When you notice your mind wandering, name 5 things you can see, 4 you can touch, 3 you can hear, 2 you can smell, and 1 you can taste. This pulls you back into your actual experience. Step 2. Practice single tasking for 15 minutes daily. Choose one activity, making coffee, walking, listening to music, and do only that. No phone, no mental planning, no multitasking. Just be fully there with that one thing. Step 3. Try presence breaks in conversations. 3 times a day, when someone is talking to you, take a quiet breath and really focus on their words and face. Notice how this changes the conversation. Most people can feel when you're actually listening versus just waiting for your turn to talk. Start small. Presence is like a muscle. It gets stronger with practice. What if the thing you've been searching for in the future is actually available right now, but you keep missing it because you're not here to see it? What would change in your relationships if people knew you were truly listening when they talk to you? Light travels 186,000 miles every second and never misses its mark. What could you accomplish if you brought that same total presence to whatever you're doing right now? The present moment is the only place where real life happens. Number 3, gravity and the secret to real relationships. You know when you're trying really hard to make someone like you, and it just makes everything awkward, or when you're in a relationship where you feel like you're doing all the work. Always the one texting first, planning hangouts, or keeping conversations going. Maybe you've noticed how some people just seem to naturally draw others to them, while you feel like you have to chase friendship or romance. You wonder what you're doing wrong. Why do some people effortlessly have strong relationships while you're exhausting yourself trying to create connection? We get it backwards sometimes. We think we need to convince people to stay in our lives. We try to be more interesting, more helpful, more available. We change ourselves to fit what we think they want. But then we end up feeling fake and tired, and the relationships still feel fragile. It's like we're trying to force magnets together with the same poles facing each other. The harder we push, the more they resist. Gravity is the ultimate relationship force in the universe. But here's what's beautiful about it. Gravity doesn't chase anything. It doesn't beg planets to orbit or convince moons to stay nearby. Gravity works by simply being authentic to what it is. A massive object like the sun just exists fully as itself, and that natural authenticity creates a field that draws other objects into relationship with it. The sun doesn't have to pretend to be a different star to keep Earth in orbit. And here's the key. The strength of gravitational attraction depends on 2 things: how authentic each object is to its true nature, its mass, and how close they choose to be to each other. You can't fake gravitational pull. A small object pretending to be massive doesn't suddenly get stronger gravity. The most stable relationships in the universe happen when 2 authentic objects find the right distance where they can orbit each other naturally, each staying true to what they are. Here's what this teaches us. Authentic presence attracts the right people naturally. Real connection doesn't happen when you're trying to be what you think someone else wants. It happens when you're genuinely yourself and create space for others to be genuine too. People can feel the difference between someone who's performing and someone who's just present. Think about the people you're most drawn to. They're probably not the ones trying hardest to impress you. They're the ones who seem comfortable in their own skin, who listen well, who don't need your approval to feel good about themselves. You can have authentic relationships from an inauthentic self. When you're pretending to be different than you are, even if people like that version of you, they're not actually connecting with you. They're connecting with your performance. The goal isn't to attract everyone. It's to attract the people who actually appreciate who you really are. That's where real intimacy becomes possible. 3 practical steps, and here's how to try this. Step 1. Practice gravitational honesty in small ways. Instead of saying, "I'm fine," when you're not, try, "I'm having a tough day, but I'll be okay." Instead of pretending to love something you don't care about, try, "That's not really my thing, but tell me what you love about it." Small, authentic moments build trust. Step 2. Focus on being interested, not interesting. Ask genuine questions about people's lives, thoughts, and experiences. Most people are starved for someone who actually wants to know them, not impress them. Step 3. Create authentic space in your relationships. Share something real about yourself, a struggle, a hope, a weird thought you had. Then give the other person space to do the same, without trying to fix or judge whatever they share. Authentic connection is like gravity. It's quiet, consistent, and incredibly powerful over time. What if the people who are meant to be in your life are already looking for someone exactly like you, not some improved version you think you should be? What if instead of trying to be more attractive to others, you focus on being more authentic to yourself? The sun doesn't worry about keeping planets in orbit. It just shines consistently, and that natural light creates a condition for life to flourish all around it. Be yourself so clearly that the right people can find you. Number 4, star formation and finding beauty in your struggles. You know when you're going through something difficult, and people keep telling you everything happens for a reason, or this will make you stronger, and you just want to scream because right now it doesn't feel like there's any purpose to your pain. It just hurts. Maybe you're dealing with job loss, heartbreak, family problems, or health issues. Maybe you're in one of those seasons where it feels like everything is falling apart at once. People mean well with their advice, but when you're in the thick of it, it's hard to see any silver lining. You might even feel guilty for struggling, like you should be handling things better, like other people seem to bounce back faster or find meaning in their challenges more easily. You wonder if you're weak or doing something wrong, or if this hard time is just pointless suffering. It feels like being lost in a dark forest with no idea if you'll ever find your way out, let alone discover that the journey had any meaning. Stars are born in the darkest, coldest places in the universe. These areas are called nebulae, massive clouds of gas and dust floating in space. From the outside, they just look like empty, dark regions where nothing is happening. But inside these dark clouds, something incredible is taking place. Gravity is slowly pulling particles together. As they collect, they start to heat up from pressure. This process takes millions of years and involves a lot of collapse, compression, and what looks like chaos. The particles get squeezed tighter and tighter until finally, the pressure and heat become so intense that nuclear fusion begins. And suddenly there's light. A new star is born, shining brightly enough to light up everything around it for billions of years. But here's the key. Without that long, dark, uncomfortable process of compression and collapse, there would be no star. The difficult process isn't separate from the beautiful result. It is the beautiful result being born. Here's what this teaches us. Your struggles aren't obstacles to your growth. They are your growth happening. What feels like everything falling apart might actually be everything falling together in a way you can't see yet. The pressure you're feeling, the uncertainty, the discomfort, these aren't signs that something is wrong. They might be signs that something new is trying to be born in your life. This doesn't mean suffering is fun or that you should seek it out. It means that when you're in a difficult period, you don't have to waste energy fighting the process or feeling like you're failing. You can trust that something is happening, even when you can't see it yet. Diamonds are formed under pressure, and stars are born in darkness. The most beautiful things in the universe require conditions that would feel uncomfortable if you were going through them. But they're not punishments, they're creation processes. Your struggles have their own timeline, just like star formation. You can't rush it, but you can trust it. 3 practical steps, and here's how to try this. Step 1. Reframe your internal narrative. When you catch yourself thinking, why is this happening to me? Try, what is this helping me become? Not because everything is wonderful, but because this question opens up possibilities instead of closing them down. Step 2. Look for small signs of light emerging. Maybe you're developing patience you didn't have before. Maybe you're learning to ask for help. Maybe you're discovering who your real friends are. Document these small changes. They're evidence that your star is forming. Step 3. Practice pressure compassion. When you're feeling squeezed by circumstances, talk to yourself like you would talk to a friend going through the same thing. This is really hard right now, and that's okay. Something important might be happening that I can't see yet. Remember, stars don't try to speed up their formation. They just stay present to process. What if the thing that's causing you the most stress right now is actually the pressure that's creating something beautiful in your life? What if your struggles are not proof that you're on the wrong path, but evidence that you're strong enough to handle the birth of something amazing? Every star in the sky went through millions of years of compression and darkness before it could shine. What light might be getting ready to emerge from your current challenges? Sometimes you have to go through the darkness to become the light. Number 5, the expanding universe, and stop taking things personally. You know, when someone cuts you off in traffic and you spend the next 10 minutes imagining what you should have said to them, or when your boss seems grumpy and you immediately wonder what you did wrong, or when a friend doesn't text back quickly and your brain starts creating stories about how they must be mad at you. We have this habit of making everything about us. If someone's in a bad mood, we assume we caused it. If things don't go according to plan, we take it as a personal attack from the universe. If people don't respond the way we expect, we decide it means something about our worth. It's exhausting, living in a world where every random event feels like a judgment on your character, where other people's actions feel like statements about you, where coincidences feel like cosmic messages telling you whether you're winning or failing at life. But what if most things that happen around you actually have nothing to do with you at all? The universe has been expanding for about 14 billion years. Every single day, space itself gets bigger. Galaxies are moving away from each other, not because they don't like each other, but because that's just what space does. It expands. If you were a galaxy, you might look around and think, why is everyone moving away from me? What did I do wrong? But the truth is, every galaxy sees the same thing from their perspective. Everyone appears to be moving away from everyone else. This isn't happening because the universe is rejecting anyone. It's not personal. It's just the nature of an expanding space. The galaxy next to you isn't trying to get away from you specifically. It's just following the natural flow of cosmic expansion. From our perspective on Earth, it might seem like we're at the center of everything moving away from us. But every galaxy in the universe could make that same claim. None of them are special targets for cosmic rejection. Here's what this teaches us. Most of what happens around you isn't about you at all. When your coworker seems stressed, they're probably dealing with something in their own life that has nothing to do with you. When someone doesn't return your call immediately, they're probably busy with their own expanding universe of responsibilities and relationships. People are living their own lives, following their own natural patterns, dealing with their own pressures and joys. Just like galaxies moving through expanding space, most people are just moving through their own experiences. This is actually incredibly freeing. It means you can stop wasting energy trying to decode hidden messages in other people's behavior. It means you can respond to situations based on what's actually happening, not on what your worried mind thinks it might mean about you. When you stop taking everything personally, you start seeing everything more clearly. You can be more helpful, more understanding, more present, because you're not constantly protecting your ego from imaginary attacks. 3 practical steps, and here's how to try this. Step 1. Use expanding universe test. When you feel hurt or confused by someone's behavior, ask yourself, what else could be going on in their universe right now that has nothing to do with me? Maybe they're worried about money, dealing with family stress, or just having an off day. Step 2. Practice cosmic perspective responses. Instead of why did they do that to me, try they're dealing with something I can't see. Instead of this always happens to me, try this is just what's happening right now. Step 3. Focus on your own galaxy. When you catch yourself obsessing over someone else's behavior, redirect that energy to your own life. What do you need right now? What can you control in your own expanding universe? This is about being selfish. It's about being realistic about where your influence actually reaches. What if 90% of the things you take personally actually have nothing to do with you? What if people's moods, responses, and decisions are mostly about their own inner universe, not about judging or rejecting you? In a universe that's been expanding for 14 billion years, where countless galaxies are following their own paths through space, what are the odds that everything revolves around your personal story? The universe is big enough for everyone to be the main character of their own story. Let's recap what we discovered on our cosmic journey today. Black holes taught us that fighting reality creates more suffering than reality itself. When you stop trying to control what's uncontrollable, you find your way to what you can actually influence. Control is an illusion, but response is a choice. The speed of light showed us that all real power exists in the present moment. When you're fully here, right now, you see opportunities and connections you miss when your mind is elsewhere. Presence is where connection happens. Gravity revealed that authentic presence attracts the right people naturally. You don't need to chase relationships or perform to be loved. When you're genuinely yourself, you create the conditions for real intimacy to flourish. Star formation proved that your struggles aren't obstacles to growth. They are your growth happening. The pressure you feel might be something beautiful being born in your life. Sometimes you have to go through the darkness to become the light. The expanding universe taught us that most things aren't about us personally. When you stop taking everything as a judgment on your character, you can see situations more clearly and respond more wisely. These aren't just pretty space facts. These are tools you can use every day. When you feel overwhelmed, remember the black holes and ask what you're trying to control that you could let go of instead. When you feel disconnected, remember Light's example and come back to the present moment. When relationships feel forced, remember gravity's wisdom and focus on being authentic rather than impressive. When you're struggling, remember that stars are born in darkness and trust that something important might be happening that you can't see yet. And when you feel hurt by life's randomness, remember the expanding universe and consider that most things really aren't personal attacks. They're just life happening. You have the same cosmic inheritance as every star in the sky. You're made of the same elements, following the same natural laws, part of the same incredible story that's been unfolding for billions of years. The universe doesn't make junk. It doesn't make mistakes. And it definitely doesn't make exceptions. The same forces that create galaxies and light up stars are working in your life too. Before you go, I want you to step outside tonight, if you can. Look up at the stars. Remember that the light touching your eyes left those stars years ago, traveling at exactly the right speed to reach you at exactly this moment. Think about the fact that those stars are held in perfect relationship with each other by forces that never take a day off, never get tired, never doubt themselves. Consider that you're standing on a planet that's been orbiting the same star for billions of years, never missing its mark, never questioning whether it's good enough to deserve its place in space. You're part of this, not separate from it, not less than it, not a mistake in an otherwise perfect system. You belong here, in this expanding universe, with all your struggles and growth and questions and wonder. What if that's enough? What if you already have everything you need to see clearly, love authentically, and trust the process of your own becoming? What if the cosmos has been trying to teach you that you're already home,